Okay, this video is going to cover Chapter 9, Plan Sheet Production, 9.5, Exercise number 5, Editing Plan Profile Sheets. The editing part pertains to all the sheets, but I figured I'd do one on Plan Profile because there's a lot of stuff that we do to them. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to that location of the exercise. First thing I want you to do is go back to that Route 54J 5P3181 plan profile, and the second one, the one in the middle, is what we're going to use. This, and it's in the plan sheets folder that we had created earlier. Okay, so that's where we're going. When I go back to the file, you can see I'm in that plan profile sheets number 2. Of course, I like to move this over a little bit so I can kind of see what's happening. It does kind of jack with the tools, but we'll get to them. Just over a little bit maybe. Okay, so the first thing it has is an optional thing, and that's for the plan sheet that you're looking at. Right now you see it and it's white. It's not a big deal. It'll plot as it normally does, but if you would like to change that, I'm going to show you a little tip on how to do it. There's a couple of different ways, but I'm going to show you one. So what it's telling us to do is we're going to select the file pull down to navigate to the backstage, and then select the settings option on the left side. Okay, so that file pull down, we'll hit that in OpenRose Designer, and then we'll go down to the settings option. When you select it, it gives you user, system, file, and configuration settings. The one we're looking at is actually the file settings. So we'll come down to File, select it, and we're looking for one that's called the color table. Okay, and that's the third one down. Color table lets us change the color table. When you select it, you're going to get a dialog that looks like this. Kind of looks like the one over here in our instructions. So it says to go to File, Default, and then Attach. If you look down here at this B, you'll see it's white, and that's our background color. So the color table that comes with it, when we create those sheets, it has that as it is, and we want to put our MoDOT color table on there just if you want to change the background color. So you can simply just go to the File, Default. You'll notice once I hit Default, it changes its background color to that black color, and then we can hit Attach. Okay, now we're back to this, and the next step is to go back to the View 1, and to do that, there's a back button here on the backstage. We'll hit that, and now you notice that we have changed our, close out AccuDrum, but now you see that we have the black background, and that's the way most people are used to seeing it. And you'll see all the yellow stuff. Well, now you can visualize it and see it really well. Okay, so the next step we want to do, let's see if I can get this a little better, is open our plan model. The drawing model is where the plan sheet should be edited. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into that plan drawing. Okay, so we've talked about it before, how the sheets are made up. You've got a plan sheet, and I'm going to use the view controls at the bottom left. When you open that up, you get a white folded piece of paper. That is our plan sheet. That's the one we're in right now. And then you have the two drawing models that make up our plan. One makes up our plan, and one makes up our profile. Okay, so we're going to go into our plan drawing model, and that's usually noted by this drawing in parentheses. So we'll select that one, and here we are. We're into that plan sheet. Okay, so what we're going to do in this exercise is we're going to add a dwarf arrow, move some text, put down a settings or a scale or a drawing scale. We'll put that down. We'll put a drawing scale down. Let's go to the first thing that we want to do. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do in this exercise at this point in time, once we navigated to that model we're in, is we're going to open up our measuring tools, and we're going to measure a distance to see how far we need to move this. As you can see, this piece of text is kind of close to my alignment and everything and my edge of pavement, and I just want to move it up a little bit. And this part of this exercise is just to show you how you can move text. You can scale and rotate just like we could before. We're going to go ahead and measure this and see how much distance we have here. And I like to use AccuDraw to kind of make sure I stay on my axis. So let's see, if I go to my drawing tools and I go to this More button, you'll see that there's a pull down for it. And in there is where I can toggle on my AccuDraw. So I'll go ahead and hit that button. AccuDraw is up and running. Got an XY going. Next thing I want to do is measure that distance. So if I come over to my measure tools, and I just say measure distance between 2 points. We've got all these options, but I want 2 points. So I'm going to pick it. I'm going to come out and start my point just anywhere on this piece of text. And I'll start there. And if I move up, you can see I probably want to go about 75 feet. Would be nice. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. 75 feet. We'll move this piece of text up. And I'm just eyeballing it because I'm down on that second piece. And 75 will get me about here and give me a little bit more. So that's all I'm doing. So the next part of it is, and in the instructions I even point out that we'll be using a 75-foot offset. And I put plus or minus in there because you could go a little further if you wanted to. Next part of it is to, and it shows you how to do it. We're just measuring up 75 feet or so. So to do this, to actually move it, we're going to open the reference dialog and toggle on our hierarchy. Okay? So I'm in this model, this drawing model. I'm going to hit this reference dialog. And then in this reference dialog, I want to make sure this is turned on. And then I'm going to hit the plus signs so I get all my files listed out. So again, this is the file we're working in. This one would be the name boundary that's attached. And then the corridors is attached to the name boundary. And then anything attached to the corridors is shown since we use live nesting. Now what you want to do is you want to be able to hover over this piece of information out there and figure out which file it's located in. So you'll see there's a reference route 54 J5P 3181 plan profile _2. Underneath that is the first level of the references, which is our corridors. So that doesn't contain the information, but if you go one step below that, you can see there's a 1 and it has civil geometry under there. That's the last one. So this is where we need to go, is in that civil geometry to move that piece of text. Okay, that's what that tells me when I hover over it. It's about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down, second one up from the bottom, right above your stationing. It'll tell you 1 PW and see how it's indented so that you can see the last reference file. And that's the one we want. Okay. Once we've got that, we're going to go. Let's see. I'm saying it over here in the manual. Next thing we want to do is we're going to exchange. So in this next step, step 11. We are going to exchange into that civil geometry file, okay? And this is where we'll be able to move that piece of text. So going back to Open Roads Designer, I'm going to find that civil geometry file, which is this first one here. Do a right click, and then we can exchange into that civil geometry file. So I'll do that. It should bring us right to where we're at. You should see the text being right around here. It's going to want us to check in the other file, which we will do. And it's loading all the stuff for this civil geometry file. And still going. And here's that piece of text that we want to move. Now I don't have a reference block to see where that's supposed to be for that name boundary, but we measured. We said we want to go 75 feet up. So now all we have to do is, let me follow the instructions over here, is make sure our annotation scale, our active locks are locked. The group, graphic group lock is on. We want to make sure of that. I'm going to go ahead and close this dialog for right now. So I come down to the bottom. Here's our padlocks. These are all the active locks we have. If you select it and you move away, you're going to see the annotation scales locked on. Our graphic group is locked on. When it's depressed or has that blue coloring to it, it's actually active. That's what we want. So now I can just select this piece of text and it's all one piece. If it's deselected, this is deselected, when I select it, all I get's one part of it. It won't all move. It looks like it will, but it won't. So once I've got that set on, then all you need to do is go to your drawing tools again, and we've already got AccuDraw still open, so we'll leave that open. And we're looking for our move tool, which is in the manipulate toolbars tool set, and move elements to new locations. So I'll select it, and I'll come down, I'll just pick it anywhere, wherever I pick it. And then all I'm going to do is move my mouse in the northerly direction and type in 75 on my keyboard. And then hit the enter key. Sure I am. I'm going to hit that enter key and lock that in. Okay? So I can go up 75. Don't look like it took it. Let's try it again. 75, enter, and it has moved it up 75 feet. Let me check that by doing a couple undos. Undo. Yep, that's it. So 75 feet, that puts us in the right location. Once we're here, we've done what we needed to do. So we've come in here, and you could still rotate these. If these were out of whack, you can use your rotate tool and rotate them around however you want. You could do that. Ours is in pretty good shape. So once we're finished with that, let's see where we're at here. I go through the steps from the workflow to the drawing tab. That drawing tab's in a lot of different workflows, so you could find it if you're in the drawing production work tab. You hit that drawing production workflow, you could hit the drawing tab and then get these same tools. Verify the MicroStation AccuDraw is open. Select the move tool, select the text cell to move, and put the 75 in the Y field. That's what we did. Then data point in the northern direction to the correct location. Right click when finished. So once you right click, you no longer have anything on your cursor. So I'm going to hit F4 anyway just to clean out my move tool. Next thing we want to do is navigate back to that plan sheet, okay, that we were working in. So that's that plan profile number 2. So I'm going to go to File, Browse. We're in our Open tab, so we want to hit Browse. It's in the Plan Sheets folder, so I'm going to double click on Plan Sheets to navigate down to it. I'm looking for that plan profile number 2, and here it is. Then I'll open that. Checking in any changes that I've made. And it brings us back, and you can see the text over here on the left. We've moved up 75 feet. So there's other things that you could do. This was just to show you that you can exchange into it. Even though we use live nesting, we exchanged it to that civil geometry file and moved a piece of text. The next part we're going to do is add a north arrow using the MicroStation AccuDraw tool as well. We want to verify our drawing scales as 1 inch equals 50. And then we want to, which you can do from here, drawing scale 1 inch equals 50, or it's down here at the bottom. We've got our annotation, we got our scales. So annotation's on, 1 inch equals 50, so we're good. Activate the MicroStation AccuDraw tool. It is up and running. Okay, we've got instructions in here just in case you forgot where it's at. Next part is we're going to change our workflow. We're going to go to the MoDOT CAD standard, CAD detailing standards. So we go to our workflow, we hit the pull down, MoDOT CAD detailing standards. Select that, and these toolbars change. Now, it'll default to the bridge area right off the bat. Now the thing that I don't like about this is sometimes these tools will come in unless I resize them. They look kind of goofy like they are. So I had to bridge, come back. Maybe I need to be all the way over. Now, when I hit design, you can see that I have all my icons out here instead of bunched up in the little pieces. Okay, so The next part of it is we're going to go down to Design, which we're at the Design tab. We'll be in the Design tab. And then we're going to go down to this Graphic Scales, Patterns, and North Arrow. And we're going to slide down and hit the North Arrow. Okay, so Design, Graphic Scales, Patterns, and North Arrow. Hit that pull down, and there's the North Arrow at the very top. So we'll select it, and when we do, it'll bring up the active place active cell, and it's on your cursor, and it looks correct right now. But sometimes it'll come up in a straight up and down north to the view. And let me show you how that works. If I select my AccuDraw banner and then I hit V, it comes in straight up and down. And a lot of times that's not really the true north. If it does come in like this, what you do is hit your AccuDraw banner and hit the letter T, and it will rotate that north arrow around. Okay. Now I'm going to do something goofy, and I'm going to place it right here by this right-of-way line, just so I could show you another thing that you could do, and you probably wouldn't do it on a right-of-way line, but I'm just going to place it right here, and there's my north arrow. Once I place another one, I can right-click to quit the tool. Okay. Okay, so we got it, and I go through the instructions in here as well on how to make sure that the north arrow's correct to your project rather than to the view. So that's steps 20 and 21. Step number 22 says we're going to add a graphic scale while we're in here. Yeah. So we'll do that. So I'm going to come out to that same pull down where I was at. I'm going to hit it, and I'm going to go down to 1 inch equals 50 graphic scale. I'm going to select that. It's on my cursor. And then I'm going to go ahead and place it somewhere where it looks good, where I can see that scale. Left click, and I just want to place it again. I right click, I'm finished. So I've got my scale in there. Let me see where I'm at with my exercise. Okay, that's set. Looks like I skipped something here. Let's see. It's like, nope. Okay, that's there. Okay, we're getting to it now. To remove items from a reference file, as in grid lines or any elements, follow the next few steps. We will remove a portion of the right-of-way line in this example, something we would not do, but just to show you how the tool works. Okay, so we're going to change our workflow to the Open Roads Modeling. We're going to go to the Drawing tab, and we're going to select Fence Tools, change the fence tool type to a shape, and then create a shape around the north arrow, just like in the instructions here. So Open Roads Modeling, Drawing, Fence Tools, change our fence type to shape, and create a shape around the north arrow. We want to mask out any other lines so that we can see our north arrow clean. So go back to Open Roads Modeling, Drawing, and we're looking for the fence tools. Okay, so I'm going to say select the fence tool. Here's my dialog that goes with it. I want to change the fence type to a shape. And then I want to just go ahead and create a shape around the north arrow, like so. All I'm really wanting to do is just cut out this piece in there. So you could have just cut right through here. But I'm covering the north arrow just in case anything else ends up coming in there. Later on, maybe a level's turn on or off. So let's go back to this. Open the reference dialog. Open the hierarchy tree. Select the plus sign to open the name boundary reference. Right click on the name boundary reference and select click mask. Okay, so we'll go do that. Here's a reference dialog. We'll select it. We'll open up the first option and we'll go to that name boundary. Okay, that's the one that this element's coming from. So we'll just right click and do a clip mask. And we'll go ahead and we'll use references dialog list. We'll go ahead and accept it. And you can see it cut that nicely out of there. So there's no right-of-way line running through my north arrow. Again, it's just an example of how to do the clip mask. If I go back to Word, it tells me to accept in a blank area and then accept one more time to drop the fence. So go over here, drop, left click, my fence is gone. I'm getting what I want. And again, it tells you this process will remove a portion of the right-of-way line and show the north arrow cleaner. Okay. Now we want to open the sheet model to view the changes made in the drawing models. The bottom left of the MicroStation application contains the manage view groups, and that's what I like to use a lot, where you can simply select the model to open. Okay, and again, I have a note in here. The white paper represents the sheet model. The gray folded paper represents the drawing model. So let's go back over. I'm going to close out of my references, get rid of AccuDraw, and I'm going to come down to my view tools and pick that white piece of paper. That's my plan sheet. Open up the plan sheet model, and you can see we've cut this out for north arrow, and we placed our scale in there. And that's pretty much end of the exercise. Now there'll be more information about laying out a label, which you know, we'll go through with other type of videos I've got out there for helping out with this. So that's pretty much a quick and dirty on how to get that edited. So that ends the exercise.